Okay, hello there, and welcome to the second episode of the podcast. I'm JB.
I'm Laren.
Today we're going to talk about the latest Strange New Worlds episode. What was it called? Season 4, Episode 2?
Hold on one second. I forgot that I'm doing the title. Sorry. Griffin incident.
The
No
Griffin
the.
Incident. Oh, it's no
No,
the
no, it's just
Griffin.
it's just it's just Griffin incident. Huh.
It's no the Griffin Incident? Interesting,
No.
interesting.
How very Star Trek Enterprise of them.
Okay, and on this episode, three members of the Enterprise crew that be on Spock and Kirk and Jim specifically, because there are two Kirks on the show.
I was gonna say,
Go,
well, two members of the Enterprise crew, because Kirk is not part of the
yeah, yeah,
Enterprise crew yet, but
right.
he's a
But
recurring
you know
character on the
he's
show.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
on the show. He might as well be a part of the Enterprise crew.
Yeah.
Go to an old derelict Constitution class, and all kinds of supernatural stuff ensues, or maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe. All right. So, what's your thoughts on this episode?
This I think I liked it. I think it was good. This surprised me a lot though. Like they
Mm-hmm.
really went for it. Like their episode like other Star Trek horror like I'm kind of said this when we were watching like other Star Trek horror episodes to me are Star Trek episodes with a horror feel. This is
Right.
a horror episode.
Right. It feels straight up just like horror.
Right.
Yeah. So, did you like it?
Yeah, no, I liked it. I thought it was good. I was surprised by how far it went, but it was good.
Okay. I liked it as well. I don't think it was as strong as the first episode in this season, but still good, and still
No.
better than most of the episodes in season 3.
Oh indeed.
So we're off to a good start. The first two episodes are good, which is
Oh
that's
yeah, oh
great.
yeah, yeah. They've been. This was them like swinging for the fences and doing something very different for Star Trek in a way that didn't feel like just the genre play of something else.
Right. It
Like
doesn't
you could.
feel like it's an exact like X Files ripoff or
Right,
anything.
right, right. It's definitely X Files inspired, but it doesn't feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's just the X Files.
Right. And this is very different from other Star Trek horror stories, where Star Trek
Mm,
horror stories are usually nominally grounded in like the explanation of this is why it happened kind of thing. In this
mm.
episode, there is no explanation for the stuff that happened, for the
Right.
hallucinations like there would be in other Star Trek horror themed
No, they don't.
episodes.
They don't. They don't explain it. They don't clarify.
Okay, so let's first talk about the hallucinations themselves.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a good place to start. So I think I'm trying to go in like order. I think the first thing that starts is that Kirk starts hearing a baby cry, and then gradually it's kind of sort of revealed that he's hallucinating his son David. We don't see
Mm-hmm.
David directly, but it's definitely there. And then on her mind sort of fixates on the Griffith chief of security. Shit, I think her name was Rose Harper.
Uh,
Um,
Roper. No, it's
Last
something.
name was
Yeah.
Harper.
Harper.
I
Yeah,
can't remember her first name right now.
yeah.
It might have been Rose. I could be wrong. I just watched it. I haven't like double checked on like a wiki or anything. Um, but yeah, her mind kind of fixates on that person and starts hallucinating her as like a weird spooky zombie ghost. And then and I mean they all see Harper like a little bit, but like it's mostly on that the perhaps ghost maybe fixates on. And then Spock starts seeing a hallucination of T'Pring,
Mm-hmm.
that starts being a spooky like evil doctor person. Um, and then what they think is an away team from the Enterprise, consisting of Ike, Una, Uhura, Ortegas, and Sam. That turns out to be hallucinations. So it turns out that none of them are real.
Right. Mm-hmm. Although what's interesting is that Ahura, I mean not her, Leon, she hallucinates that she almost killed Ortegas, which is
Yes, he hallucinates the transporter malfunctioning and almost killing Ortegas. Kirk hallucinates Sam going through the fucking view screen window and fucking going out in fucking space and dying.
yeah, which is like surprisingly
Um,
graphic.
I know. Oh my god, yeah. Like Spock hallucinates Pike and Una like harming themselves. It's
I
it's
know, I know.
really.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
I would
lot.
say for this episode, if you don't like a little bit of body horror in Star Trek, I would suggest not watching this episode.
Yes, yes. If you have like
Or
no
or
stomach
or you have
for,
like a thing about or if you have like a trigger for self harm is also
oh
good in
yeah,
this
for sure, for
episode.
sure. We said you said this, and I think I agree. This episode honestly probably should have come with a warning.
It probably should
Um,
have really. If this wasn't Star Trek, I wouldn't expect to be a warning, but because this is harder than Star Trek usually is with this stuff.
right, right. Like this is more violent than like Empok Nor
Right, right.
or something like that. Because like that was that was creepy, but there wasn't really like blood.
Right, right.
This has this.
The like how Garrett killed those guys was like clean, was pretty clean.
Right. Well, I mean, you've made the joke about how there's that scene in The Way of the Warrior where Klingon stabs Kira on the side with their dagger, and then she just fucking pulls the knife out and just starts
Right,
using it
right,
herself,
right,
which
right,
is awesome. It's very badass of her, but there's no blood.
right, right, right. This is blood and it has flesh and it has people
Oh yeah.
chopping their fingers off.
Even when Spock breaks out of the hallucination, we see like
There's blood.
the
You see his green blood everywhere.
right, there's blood, there's the like when okay, so the real first hallucination is actually the ship looking like clean, pristine, and untouched.
Right,
Once
right,
Spock like breaks out, there's corpses in all of the biobeds, there's blood,
right, right.
the medical instruments are covered in rust.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, it got I would say okay. I would say Spock's hallucination, why thematically relevant, is probably the least story relevant of the three.
I would agree. I would agree. It is thematically relevant to his character. It is an interesting inversion of his usual struggle. Because usually Spock's thing is that he sees his human side as the problem, and through the
Right.
hallucination of T'Pring, it seems like he sees his Vulcan side as the problem, and he would rather just be human. Which they don't call back that episode where he literally was human from like season 1 or 2, but it's fine. It's not that relevant to bring it up, and like that's a really silly episode, so it would probably be
That is a
a
very
little bit
silly episode.
tonally dissonant to do that callback. But yeah, so he cuts off the tips of his ears, but he hallucinates that it was that the Spring had done it.
Right,
Um,
which I don't know what that says about T'Pring. I have no idea.
yeah, that his mind sees her as like as hurting him, but like through this sort of sick like horror movie way of like wanting to fix their relationship. Um, the actress who plays the Spring in the show does a great job.
Right, right,
It was, good.
right.
It was nice to see her again. I like that she is not completely like gone from this show. Now that they are
Right, right, right.
broken up for the time being, at least until whenever they get engaged again, so
Right.
that a mock time will still make sense in continuity. Like one thing I would give to Strange New Worlds is
Mm-hmm.
that it is the primary reason that I've grown fond of the character
Right, right, right.
to bring. Like
And
I think they did a very good job with her in the first few seasons and fleshing her
like,
out. I
yeah,
always thought she was kind of a
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, I was
It,
just gonna say, like, I always thought she was kind of a stupid, ridiculous cartoon villain in the original series. In
yes,
general,
yes.
I have the hot take that I don't think Amok Time is actually a very good episode.
There's a lot of people that
We, as
kill
Star
you
Trek
for
fans,
saying
just
that.
like it.
There's a
I
lot of
know,
people.
I know, I know. It's a fuck or die episode. It gave us Yowie fan fiction. I just
I
don't think
I
it's actually good.
I like the episode. It's not the best episode, but I like the episode.
No, it's fun, but I don't think it's like I don't think it's good drama. I don't think it's actually good drama. I just think it's really fun and silly.
Well, good for Spock. It was just his ear, nothing more
Yeah,
vital.
yeah. Oh yeah, there's the bit where they threaten like it seems like the hallucination of T'Pring is gonna cut his heart out of like his side where Vulcan hearts are and like try to like put it in his
Right,
chest like
right, right,
where it would be on a human.
right.
Which is a horrifying implication. I'm
Yeah.
glad they didn't go too far with that. Another thing where I'm glad that they pulled back The bit where Una like cuts her own stomach is
Yeah,
gross,
yeah,
but I'm glad she didn't. I'm glad they didn't go for something more close to reality. I'm glad she didn't like cut her wrist or anything.
right, right. I think they stayed away from that on purpose,
Yeah,
maybe.
I think they didn't want to be too flagrant with
Right.
with self harm and with like
Hmm.
suicide and stuff, for edginess, like a lot of like much lesser horror
Right,
has done.
right.
Like this is good horror. Like I don't know
Yeah,
if they got someone special to be like the director of this episode or something. I haven't like looked into the
yeah.
behind
This
the
is
scenes.
definitely much more horror focused than even the other horror episodes.
Right.
Except
I
for
think of
maybe
like
that one with the schisms aliens. That one was fucking
oh,
frightening.
Schisms is so creepy. Oh my god, Schisms is super creepy. Schisms isn't graphic either, though. Like everything is implied because the aliens like put them like the anything where the aliens like cut up like Riker or Worf or Rager. I forget who else was in that episode. But, like they get Ogawa might have been one of the ones that was abducted too. I don't remember. But like they get like put back together by the aliens, and then they notice like the fractures after the fact. Isms is one of the ones that really gets you in the implications. But this is probably the most graphic that Star Trek has been maybe
Oh,
since blowing
definitely,
up Remek's head in Conspiracy.
definitely. I would say this is a lot more disturbing than Rimmick's head because Rimmick's head looks goofy as shit.
It looks super fake, yeah.
But yeah, this is an interesting move by them. They said it was an X Files homage, which,
Right.
if it is, it's a very subtle one. Like not in the.
Yes, it's not over the top about it. Like they mentioned, they established the existence of a group called Division 12 in Starfleet, who are essentially the unknown anomaly investigation group. They handle the weird shit, the weird police. Very
Basically,
much
like the
like
Mulder and Scully division from the X Files.
yes, but they don't have a set of characters from Division 12 who are obviously derivative of Mulder and
Oh,
Scully.
don't
Like
worry. Temporal Investigations already has those too.
right. Yeah. At the beginning of the episode, La'an is kind of like dismissive of Division 12, which I imagine
Right.
that made me think of the Department of Temporal Investigations because I imagine it's
Uh
a
huh.
situation where like people know that what they do is important, but the people from that group that they interface
Right.
with, they tend to find kind of annoying.
Maybe,
So that's
maybe.
why the reputation is that because everybody finds the DTI guys to be like annoying, no fun buzzkills at DS9.
Because I will say, I think with the Division 12 thing, I do have like future like novel writers and ST are like, write that down, write that down, write that down.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. We're definitely going to get something. I would be interested, because there was a Department of Temporal Investigations book series, which I believe is where the abbreviating, like shortening, abbreviating the name down to DTI, like I did earlier. I think
mm-hmm.
that's where that comes from originally. Um, um, and I would be really down for a Division 12 novel series. I don't know if they'll do it. Star Trek novels don't come out as rapidly as they used to, unfortunately.
Right,
Um,
right.
that could be interesting. And yeah, I could definitely see Star Trek Online maybe trying to deal with it. Maybe they could try to do it in the current story arc. Maybe Division 12 will send somebody to analyze the like the Chimerans or the Ethereans and try to figure out something about the current situation with the multiverse Borg variants. Um,
Yeah, I will say like each of these like had a theme that had to do with like family. Like Kirk hallucinates David, his son, and his brother Sam getting killed.
right,
Spock
right.
has the T'Pring thing, and I will say
Which
I think Leon has like the weakest link because like
oh for sure. Well, I will say something to that though. Considering maybe it's a kind of a meta thing because all three characters are the three characters from the cage that have continued into the rest of Star Trek. Pike and Una playing some prominent roles in his hallucination might imply that he sees them as family.
maybe that might be it.
Um, they don't highlight that as like a thing, but it could. The Starfleet is is her family. That's where she feels she belongs, which is I guess supposed be
Now
why
I
she's
will say
hallucinating
that
another Starfleet officer, and maybe. Hmm,
I will say that Jim like fearful of like Sam dying is a little bit of leaning on the fourth wall, shadowing for his episode where he dies.
Right. The episode of the original series where Sam dies. Okay, there is some stuff with Lana that I think does suit the family theme if we're going to do the Starfleet as a family thing. The fixation on Harper, like where they try to draw that connection, it doesn't really work. But
Yeah.
like the whole group of Starfleet officers surrounding
Mm-hmm.
her and being like,
Mm-hmm.
"It's okay, you're not a monster, you're one of us." That feels a little bit more connected.
Right.
The
Right.
fear of hurting Ortega's and Uhura, that feels also a little bit more connected to if the idea is Starfleet as Lon's family. Um, so I'll give them credit for those connections. Trying to think. But the way that specifically trying to connect it to the fact that her mind fixated on Security Chief Harper,
Right.
I don't think works as well.
Right. Right. They try to make her like a dark reflection of you, kind of thing.
Right. They try to make her dark reflection on. They have them like switch out. Like Harper changes into Laan when Laan thinks that she's hurt Uhura, but
Right.
it was a hallucination of Uhura.
Right. Right. And what's interesting is the other people can see the hallucination of Harper.
Yes. Kirk and Spock do see. They don't see. I don't think they see Harper like consistently, but they do see her
Right, which is
at
interesting.
least
I don't
once or
know.
twice.
Which this is one of those unexplained phenomena episodes and all.
Right. They do this really crazy bait and switch where when the hallucinations of Pike and Una, when we think that they're the real ones, they don't see the hallucinations of praying, but then it turns out
Right.
that they are part of it when they strap Spock to the table and they're like sort of working with the supreme hallucination in a loose sense.
Right.
There was a funny joke. I don't know if this is like true, like of the real Una,
Uh huh.
but when Supreme comes up, Una's just like, I never liked her anyway.
Which is very interesting. Very
I know
interesting.
that's really funny. That feels
Yeah.
in character. I don't know how to explain it, but I buy it. It's really funny.
Yeah, like it's very interesting. Oh, and Pike's obsession with like cooking comes in again.
I know, yeah. Oh my god, can you imagine? Can you if they'd done a DS9 episode like this? Could you imagine Avery Brooks doing that?
Oh my gosh.
With that like that crazy with he can do like a crazy smile like when he was like the villain in Armin Bashir or something like that
Except
that
it'd be like O'Brien in Spock's place. Yeah.
you know yeah something always has to happen to O'Brien.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like imagine O'Brien have a hallucination of like Jadzia and Cisco taunting him and stuff.
Oh my god. I would love that. I would watch the shit out. Yeah, let Terry Farrell do more horror. She was only in one Hellraiser movie. She didn't even get to be a Cenobite.
At least she was the designated survivor of that movie. At least one of them.
That's good. Good for her. Oh my god.
Dude.
Oh my god. Um, what was I gonna? Yeah, speaking. Okay, using the O'Brien comparison. Now I can't decide whether Spock or La'an is like the designated sufferer in this show. They both deal with so much
They
shit.
both suffer pretty well. I think Leon maybe more because she's got the evil gene thing
Oh
going
god.
on.
Yeah, which I don't like them framing it that way, and I wish they would like dispel it. Like maybe I want to hold out hope that it's like with the Gorn, where what they did with the Gorn, where they're framing it a certain way so that they can pull the rug out from under and be like, no, it's not actually that. It's not actually bioessentialism. But they've done so much bioessentialism already that I don't really
Right.
trust them. I don't know. I don't know.
Isn't that
Not
right,
into it.
Patel statue? Patel statue.
Oh, Patel statue. There was a bit where Harper was like in shadow, and I thought like, oh,
Right.
is she gonna encounter a hallucination of Battelle, or is it gonna turn out that Juan feels some sort of way about what happened to her? And then, but no, I was wrong. I was wrong.
It
Um,
was just Harper.
yeah,
Whoever Harper is, which
whoever Harper was,
yeah,
rip in peace.
is slash was slash is. I don't know what the fuck is
Oh
going
yeah,
on.
because it could be her. It's the most that something like this in Star Trek has ever had the potential to actually just be a ghost.
Right, right, right.
Do you want to move into like speculating what the hell this was?
Sure, go ahead. You can speculate. I don't really have any speculations, but you can if you want
That's
to.
fair. Okay, so I have a few ideas that are all kind of random. One idea I thought while watching the episode, and maybe this doesn't quite match up, but I thought this was maybe that like that fear entity that was Jack the Ripper on Earth in that one TOS episode. Um, it it wouldn't entirely surprise me for that being to do something like this. Like if you
By
wanted
the
to take
way,
that creature more seriously, it would absolutely be like this.
a little side tangent here. If that guy from the episode who played like Jack the Ripper sounds familiar, it's because he's the same guy, the original voice of Piglet in the Winnie the Pooh
That's
movies,
that's insane. That's amazing. That's hilarious. Okay.
and he even sounds
My
like Piglet a little bit in that episode.
right. My other theory is okay. So this episode kind of reminded me a little bit of like episodes like The Naked Time in TOS or The Naked Now in TNG, except like if the investigation part
Right.
had been like the whole episode, like one of those episodes where the crew goes crazy, but them investigating the thing that leads them going crazy is the
Right.
whole
Right.
episode.
Which, like
Um,
you said, probably would have benefited the neck and now because it would have been better.
would have been much better. So my theory is maybe this is some kind of space virus, like the drunk disease,
Maybe.
way more scary than the drunk disease.
Oh, okay. Maybe it drives you
But
like
the way
insane
the
and
crew like
shit.
goes crazy and kills each other kind of reminded me of like what happens with the drunk disease in TOS and TNG, except not as silly and not as unintentional.
Right, right. Because like people do die during like the drunk disease, but it's mostly people killing people like unintentionally.
Right, right. That's what happened in both the
Right.
incidents preceding both the TOS episode and the TNG episode. Also in that way, with it being a little bit more intentional, like harm, it sort of reminded me a little bit of Dramatis Personae from DS9, but
Mm.
that was a lot more like character drama between the cast, like heightening certain relationships between the characters to like a crazy
Right.
absurd degree.
Right.
Um,
The
Whereas this
closest
is
thing that it
relatively
reminds me
explored.
of, it's not gonna happen because it's a completely different thing, is in Enterprise. You haven't been there yet. There's an episode where a
Mm.
bunch of Vulcans go nuts and
Oh,
they kill
the
each
Vulcan
other.
zombie episode.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I've
Yeah,
heard of it.
yeah, you haven't seen that episode yet. It's very interesting. That's what it reminds me the most of.
Right, right. The non-visitor compares that episode to a video game in her book, which I think is funny.
It's not. She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Oh my god, this is okay. Completely unrelated tangent. One of my favorite video game trailers ever is that COD Zombies one where it's like Kennedy and Fidel Castro and I think Nixon in like a
Uh,
bunker,
right, right,
and then they get a bunch of guns and they're just like, "All right, time to shoot Nazi zombies." Why is Fidel Castro there? Anyway, um, okay, so those are my main theories. Okay, this one is way more out there. This is
right.
almost definitely not it, but like, I could buy one of those like Ferengi mindfuck machines from the battle doing this. It's definitely not that, but it's
Right,
possible.
right,
Um,
right, right.
Going back to the sort of the red jack idea, it could be some other kind of malignant
Oh yeah.
semi-psychic entity
Mm-hmm.
tormenting them, something like the Gilum of sorts. It is the characters sort of attribute what is happening to the ship itself, but I don't think that's literally the explanation. Not unless like maybe maybe the ship is like the ship's computer has gone crazy and the ship is covered in experimental hollow projectors and they don't Spock and Spock and Lon don't know that. Maybe that's what's going on. That's probably not it.
Yeah, this is the
But
most open-ended a Star Trek mystery episode has ever
it's
been.
it's insanely open ended. Not only do they not explain it, but the fact that it's like the whole thing is just thrown off to the Starfleet weird shit division to be probably buried forever.
And also that Leon can, like, before they leave, can see the person for the window that she's been hallucinating,
Hmm.
which is like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's not on the ship
interesting.
anymore, but she can hallucinate from that distance, which again implies that it is some kind of Harper ghost thing.
Right, right. Okay, so do you think we'll actually see David in this series, in this season?
Yeah, I think they could have an episode where Kirk actually does get to visit Carol and David, and we do see them, and they figure out who they want to play them. I would love to see Baby David because he would just have I could just imagine him in my head, and he would have the cutest little curly hair. He would be adorable. He would be so adorable. I think if I saw Baby David, I would want to protect him with my life.
Yeah, and I would be interested to see, like, like, to, like, know, like, the status of, like, certain people in the Prime universe that show up in the Kelvin universe but never show up in the Prime
Yes, we don't
universe.
know anything about the prime timeline version of Carol Marcus's dad, which is
Right,
crazy because he's like the real main villain of Into Darkness.
right, right, right. I just, is he even in Starfleet? Is he an admiral? Is he involved in Section 31? That would be interesting. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, it's
expect an
very
episode
interesting.
about it, but I would at least like to, like, know if he's
Right,
even in Starfleet in this timeline.
right. When Kirk talked about Carol to La'an, he mentions that she's never been fond of Starfleet and that she's always worried that he'll die somewhere alone in space, which seems to imply that this is how it seemed to be in Wrath of Khan as well, but it seems to imply that the Prime Universe Carol Marcus was never in Starfleet at any point,
Right,
is never had any involvement with it, was probably has been like a civilian scientist like we see her in Wrath of Khan for a very long time, which suggests to me that they're. I bring it up because it suggests they're not. It doesn't seem like they're going to try to reconcile her Prime and
right,
Kelvin time depictions by
right.
saying like, oh, she used to be in Starfleet, but she left because too many people were dying or something. They don't
My
do that
my
to try to like
theory is
reconcile those two
that
characters.
I think in, like, the Kelvin timeline, she might be closer to her father than in the Prime timeline.
Maybe, yeah, maybe they're more distant. I remember reading an interview where they were going to touch on like Kirk's fears about fathering and some of his
Right,
decisions that build on his absenteeism. And we definitely get that with him choosing something else over seeing Carol and David in this
right.
episode,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that is like relatively innocuous, but we know is gonna be a big
Right,
part of that rift later through the hallucinations with Sam. I think we can tell that he's worried about being distant in the same way that his father was.
right, right. And he
Um,
doesn't have to worry about Sam. Sam was with his family. Like, he's
Yep,
not bumming it.
Sam's all the same. We even get a name drop of Peter Kirk, who
Yeah, yeah.
um does I think get to do like a few things here and there in Beta Canon and is a character in the fan series Star Trek New Voyages. So he's somewhat of a thing, more than just like being in that TOS episode.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
that was kind of cute. Um,
There's some foreshadowing about him being worried about Sam's death, which we all know
oh
is going to
yeah,
come.
which they kind of also in a way foreshadowed it with the alternate Kirk in Tomorrow Cubed. Um, so not quite as directly
Well,
as
uh,
this.
Kelvin Sam is a completely different bill. I think Kelvin Sam is seen briefly in the first movie, and then the
Hmm.
rest of his stuff is relegated to comics.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, I still have not. I've read like bits and pieces of the Kelvin Timeline comics, but I haven't like, gone deep into
And yes,
them.
in the comics, he does look like Chris Pine. Why do you ask?
Chris Pine with a mustache. Chris Pine with like a really
Yeah.
silly mustache. That sounds really funny. I think Chris Pine would love putting on a goofy mustache and playing Sam Kirk. I think he would. I think he would. I think he would love it. We do continue on some of the sort of very broad references to the Calvin Timeline. There's a nice scene with Kirk and Uhura
Right.
at the end, and like building on their relationship is definitely something that seems to have been inspired a little bit more by the
The
Calvin
Kelvin
Timeline than
timeline
by
and the
the
Prime
original
timeline.
series. Right,
I
right.
think
Then
him and Uhura, I think have a stronger relationship in the Kelvin timeline than the Prime timeline.
I agree. They seem closer there. I mean, they're definitely close in the original series, but it's a little bit more understated.
Right, right.
Like they even mirror them meeting in a bar, like in Star Trek 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in Strange New Worlds. So it's definitely that's something playing a part. I appreciate those little bits where they try to sort of bridge the prime versions of the characters that these are and those alternate versions of the characters
Also,
that
remember
are
no Scotty in this episode at all.
different in this episode. Neither is Pelia,
Yeah,
actually.
interesting. You don't have an engineering like consultant at
Right.
all in this episode. No
Nope,
engineering
nope.
consultant.
No, I guess it wasn't strictly relevant. There
This is the
was
first
a
episode Scotty hasn't been in a long time.
yeah. They very much made him part of the show, which I'm certainly happy for. What was I gonna say? There is there was a second with the those zombie crew that appear around Long. There was one guy that they kind of focused on.
Maybe he's played by the guy who plays Hemmer.
Right, that might have been Bruce Horak again, getting in a little cameo. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was going to be Zombie Hammer again, and it was going to be like people that
He
I thought they were going to be
looks.
people that
I think
Lon
he
had lost.
looks like another Andorian. Is what it looks like.
Right. What's interesting is that one of the okay, so no one knows what happened to the Griffin exactly. I mean, we know that
Right.
like the crew went crazy and killed each other. Like when Spock breaks out of hallucination, there's like a guy with like a knife in his skull on one of the biobeds. And it's implied that the real Harper probably killed a lot of the crew herself.
Right.
Um,
Well, they
which
said that most of them died by being beamed down into space.
right, most of them died by being beat down in space. A number of them were stabbed. A handful were strangled to death.
Yeah.
And I don't think those computer records are part of the hallucination. I think we can say
Right.
that those were real.
Yeah, yeah. They seem legit.
But yeah, it's very scary. The captain is referred to by the last name Taggart, which
Taggart, which
might
is
be
which is it might be a reference to STO. I don't know.
yeah. Because in Star Trek Online, there is a Genobulan Starfleet captain named Math Taggart, who is your training cruise captain during the contemporary Starfleet
But what's
tutorial mission.
interesting is that is a reference to Galaxy Quest, where
Oh,
the
okay. So
captain's
maybe
name is Captain Taggart in
okay.
that
So maybe
series.
this was the Galaxy Quest reference again.
It
Um,
might be. It might be because like in that one, like the captain's name is Captain Taggart in Galaxy Quest.
Maybe Star Trek. Tim Allen is dead. He's
So
fucking
I
dead.
think that is a Galaxy Quest reference.
I think so. I think so. Which is really funny to put a Galaxy Quest reference in an episode that's so goddamn serious.
I know, I know.
Um,
Because Taggart's not exactly a common name.
no, not a lot. It's one of those names that, like, intellectually, I know is a real name that some people have, but it feels
But it
like
sounds made up. It sounds like it's made up for a TV show.
it sounds like an action hero name,
Right,
you
right.
know?
That's why the fictional captain is named that in Galaxy Quest, because it sounds like action hero name.
Right. Um, oh my God, that reminds me. Okay, so we have a friend who lives in Romania and
Mm-hmm.
is a fan of Star Trek the original series. She hasn't delved into the later series yet,
Right. Mm-hmm.
but she said that when she started watching, she didn't know that Kirk was a real name initially.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a real name. Unfortunately, we've had some real unfortunate people with that real
Oh
name.
God, yeah. I don't even. I'm glad that I don't think about him like nearly at all when I'm talking about
I'm,
Star Trek
I'm,
with
I'm
people.
glad I don't think about him when I think about Captain Kirk.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, guy.
It's a good
Anyway,
thing that he doesn't have a brother named Charlie.
Jesus.
God.
Oh God. But yeah. Um. Oh, there was something else I wanted to articulate. Oh, okay. So something interesting that a little like sort of tether is
Hmm.
okay. So when Lon hallucinates all the zombies, one of them is a Klingon, and then there's a reference to them finding like Klingon disruptor burns on a wall, and
Right.
there's a reference to the idea that the Griffin was thought to have been potentially destroyed by Klingons.
I think the
So that's
thing that they have there is that they are not the first visitors to this ship.
right. I think right. Like a Klingon boarding party may have shown up, maybe even while the original Starfleet crew was still alive, and also were killed.
Right, right. And they also mentioned Vulcans, which means that maybe like an independent Vulcan science team also
Yes,
showed up at one
yes, because we
point.
know independent Vulcan ships are still a thing after the Federation formed, like from Lower Decks and whatnot. Right, they do mention Vulcan phaser burns,
Which
which
is
we've never.
interesting because we've never seen a
Right,
Vulcan phaser pistol.
right. Any Vulcans that we see use phasers, they're using standard issue Starfleet ones provided by
Right,
whatever
right,
Starfleet crew they're working with. Even T'Pol doesn't have
right,
a unique
right,
Vulcan phaser in the same way that like Kira has a Bajoran phaser in DS9
right.
and stuff like that. It's so that's curious. I would be interested to see what one would look like. I think that could be like a cool
They
space laser
probably have
gun
a ring.
design.
They probably have the ship rings on them.
I was gonna say a little ring on the gun. That'd be fun. I would be so down with that actually. But yeah, that is definitely curious.
Though it's
I will say
interesting that they could tell what kind of phasers slash disruptors just from the blast patterns.
it is interesting. That is also very interesting. Yeah, it was like a Federation um phase. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Um, the thing that the thing that cops do when they investigate stuff. What's it called?
Forensics?
Forensics. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like a space forensics involves figuring out different energy weapon blast patterns.
maybe,
Maybe
maybe.
Lon as a chief security, that feels like it would be
Right.
relevant for her. And Spock is Spock. He knows things. Um, so yeah, the characters do also the characters do theorize what happens to the Griffin. I guess that would be a logical area of the episode to sort of move on to is which is like spatial
Mm-hmm.
anomaly, encounter with Klingons. My personal theory is I think the ship is too intact to
Right.
for it
Mm-hmm.
to go through a battle situation where it was lost.
Right. Right. And the thing about
Um,
the Griffin is must be a very early Constitution class.
yes, I noticed that the CGI model seems to be the Constitution class model from Discovery. It doesn't it's not identical to the Enterprise in this show.
Which would make sense if it's supposed to be from that time period.
It was supposed to have been lost 9 years ago, which would have been I think even pre-Discovery, if not around season
Which
one.
is interesting since everybody since when she hallucinates the people wear the TOS uniforms, not the disco uniforms.
Right, they don't go that far with it, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe what we recognize as like the classic TOS uniforms in some form or fashion were debuted as like Constitution class line wide uniforms
Maybe because I
first.
remember in season 2 they have those the all the Enterprise crew have those ugly proto TOS uniforms.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Right, and they're just kind of visually retconning those to be like the standard ones in the show.
Maybe
Um,
because
because I'm reminded of like
I've never liked those uniforms.
that's fair. That's fair. Because I'm reminded of I was thinking of like because in the lower decks uniforms in that show seem to have debuted as like a California class line wide
Right.
thing.
I think they just try out new uniforms every now and then on particular classes
Yeah.
and see what sticks.
Right. Right.
Which I don't think the California class uniform ever became standard issue in Starfleet as a whole.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem to have, which is a shame because it looks nice.
It's a
Um,
very colorful. It works well in a cartoon.
I agree. I agree. I like the colors. It's a very good simple pattern. I think it works. Um,
I like the collars. I like the collars.
Me too. They are nice colors.
I think
Um,
Starfleet uniforms should have high collars.
I agree. I agree. Starfleet uniforms, Bajoran uniforms, Klingon uniforms, Romulan uniforms. Get them all colors immediately.
But yeah, the interesting thing. Oh, it's interesting that Kirk hallucinates Sam hallucinating, which is interesting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he
Since
thinks that
Sam
Sam
was
is
never there,
hearing
so he
his kid.
hallucinates that Sam hallucinates about Peter.
Yeah, it's like layered. It's really
Yeah.
freaky. And again, like I said, like sometimes the characters will see hallucinations will think that the hallucinations of some people are not seeing the
Right.
hallucinations of other people.
Right.
It really fucks with your perceptions.
Mm-hmm. It
Um,
does indeed.
Creepy as hell. I think the only thing that you and I agree on that we don't like about the episode is at the very end. Okay, so while Lon is out of her right mind, she ends up
Uh-huh.
stabbing Kirk with a big knife,
Right, right, right.
and
This
then Pike decides that Starfleet Command doesn't need to know about that when he files
which
a report, which he already covered Mbanga's murder in
I
season
know.
3. So it's a weird pattern and precedent with Pike that I'm not sure I'm
And
a big fan
plus,
of.
like, okay, yes, this is clearly not her fault. Like, we know it's not her fault.
Right.
Like, but
But it
also,
should
Starfleet might need to
probably
know that so they could do like some follow up stuff. Like, maybe they want her to get see like a counselor or something because of this.
right. Right, exactly. It really does feel like that should be yeah, that you should report that just in case.
Like
Yeah,
so far, Pike has been very loose with the rules. Like, looser
yeah,
even than like Cisco.
right. Or Kirk, right? Because Cisco, I mean, obviously, there's Dax, the episode where he's like, Jadzia is innocent, and you will find evidence that she's innocent. My, you know, um, and he sort of covers for different members of his crew in other ways throughout the series, but he never like if it's something really serious, he's gonna
Right.
report it.
Mm-hmm. I like. I don't know. I hope this is like an intentional character flaw with Pike instead of a
Right. I think it could also be on a wider level. It could also be them trying to sort of add more credence to the idea that TOS era captains in general were like more mavericky than TNG era ones, where they're a little bit more
I,
beholden to
I
Starfleet
will say,
Command.
Kirk himself is not as mavericky as the legends let on. Like, he doesn't do that
No,
much maverick shit.
no. I think which on from a meta perspective, like the idea that Kirk is not that out of line really, but looks like a crazy maverick compared to like TNG Starfleet. If they ever like did that, if they ever intentionally um touched on that sort of dichotomy, I think that would be very funny.
I think the only time the big time that they address that is during the very mediocre Voyager flashback episodes. Like, whoa, those guys were crazy back then.
Yes, yes. I'm thinking of like the Janeway's
Yeah,
monologue
yeah.
about what 23rd century Starfleet captains tended to be like. They were a little looser with the Prime Directive. A little. Um, I, I made my piece about this before. While definitely, obviously, Starfleet Command and the Admiralty have proven that they can be a problem in their own right, time and time again in Star Trek. I generally prefer captains having more checks and balances and less
Right,
unilateral
right,
individual authority than they
right.
do in the original series. In the original series, Starship captains are like little kings, and that's dangerous and bad.
You see, this thing is like, okay, like there's like maybe like one or two admirals in TOS. There's not that many admirals in TOS,
Right?
but like the Commodores are all like cartoon villains.
Yeah, a little bit. And there's even other captains that like go crazy on like pre-war planets and turn evil and become like fucking warlords,
So
like
in the
that guy
TOS
and
era, captains just tend to do whatever the heck they want.
right, like that guy, like the captain in the Omega Glory. I can't remember his fucking name right now, but
Yeah.
like that guy or the guy from the Roman Empire planet who I don't even think was a Starfleet officer.
The Roman Empire planet.
I know the Roman Empire planet is
The
dumb.
sun, not SUN, SON.
Oh my god, stupid ass. Ace Christianity will save these people from the TV Roman Empire. Ugh, awful, awful. I just think of Spock and McCoy wearing those gray T-shirts with little shade tampos.
They definitely had some
Stupid.
costumes left over from a movie.
I know from some fucking like dog shit Sword and Sandals
I
movie.
know. It's the same thing with all the Nazi uniforms and all the gangster
Yeah,
uniforms.
yeah, yeah. Or the Pilgrim uniforms in the fucking Landru episode.
Yeah, like you just made a TV movie that everybody forgot, and you want to reuse the props.
Right, exactly. Oh my god. Oh, that's another thing. Okay. So going back to,
Oh yeah, prop reuse. That's right. Yeah, yeah,
Right. I mentioned one of the well, obviously yes, it is the classic Star Trek thing of they
Yeah.
get to use the same sets that they normally use, but they just use them in different lighting. The
Right.
original series and Deep Space Nine both did this a lot. The other shows not as much. Um, I don't get me wrong, I definitely get why both of those shows made the most use they could out of those Enterprise and DSN station
Right.
interior sets,
Right.
obviously. But yeah, it is a thing. It is a Star Trek it is a Star Trek tradition. The way that they film the sick bay, uh, in the scenes that are in the Griffin sick bay, remind me a lot of how they filmed the sick bay when it's supposed to be the ISS Enterprise sick bay in Discovery season 5,
Okay.
the episode
Interesting.
Mirrors, where they
Mm-hmm.
find the
Mm-hmm.
you haven't seen yet. They find the old the ISS Enterprise trapped in stuck in like a reality vortex thing, and like it's been abandoned by the crew a long time ago because they were fleeing. They fled from the mirror universe to the prime universe after Mirror Spock was uh, was killed by some sort of group of Terran imperialists, presumably somewhere close to the fall of the Terran Empire. Um, and like one of the Terrans that crossed over in the ISS Enterprise when the crew stole it. I believe she was the ship's junior science officer. Originally, she was one of the scientists that was involved in the cover up of the progenitor technology. Um, but yeah, the way that they filmed it reminded me a lot of that Discovery season 5 episode, in some ways.
Uh huh.
But yeah, there was something else I wanted to bring up, but I can't remember what it was now. Oh, this is a more minor point, but at the end we get a little bit more of Chapel's history in the Klingon War.
Mm-hmm.
Another
Mm-hmm.
hospital that she served at during the war, during a particularly brutal offensive, during that battle between the Federation and the Klingons. Um, it's a shame that like with how much like the Klingon Wars like cut into the characters. It's a shame that these versions of Mbenga, Chapel, and
Uh
Ortega's,
huh.
because of timeline stuff, they can never meet the Discovery characters. I feel like that would be interesting, but alas.
Right. 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 Right.
And she mentions
I
that
just
like after,
wonder what these characters think about Michael Burnham and her
oh
decision
god,
that led to the war.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think Ortegas would probably have some strong words for her.
Yeah, because nobody really knows that Takuma was going to start a war anyway. I think.
Right.
Um.
Right. Because like that died with him.
Oh yeah, yeah. The original version of attacking the Federation died with him. His original cause, other than like a small handful of loyalists like Volk and Laurel.
Right. Right.
Um. I suppose Laurel probably brought to pass some version of what Takuma wanted when she became Chancellor, but definitely uniting the Klingon Empire.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
yeah, but yeah, so she mentions like after there was a situation where like the actual hospital area got like bombed out and they had to
Right.
triage
Mess
patients
hall.
into the
Yep.
mess hall. Now she doesn't eat there anymore on the Enterprise, and
Right.
the comparison is made to Spock not wanting to
Uh
have
huh.
his ears regenerated in sick bay after what he'd been through.
Right. 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 Because he got
Right,
basically he got
right.
mutilated in sick bay.
Yeah, which that part I think is a very realistic discussion of
Uh huh.
trauma a little bit without like making it too much of like a very special
Right.
episode on the subject. Although now
Right.
I'm thinking about it, since we know that it wasn't, that Spock is actually the one that cut himself. It does bring a slightly uncomfortable callback to that bit in What Is Starfleet where they mentioned where Spock admits that he self harmed as a child and then they move on.
Well, you see, that's a reference to I think a TAS episode actually.
Oh wow. Oh,
It's from that flashback episode from TAS.
yesteryear.
Yeah, they never describe him like never like say him doing that. They never like show
Hmm.
it, but some of his dialogue does imply that he tried to cut the human part of him away.
Jesus, that's horrible. We do get a TAS reference in this episode because the hallucination of T'Pring. relates a story that the real Griffin told Spike at some point
Right.
about when she took the Coswan, which the Coswan is another one of those examples of Vulcans having like, despite all their like logic and stuff, having these weird
Right.
archaic rituals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like she fucking like broke her arm and there were animals and but she like hummed a poem to
Uh-huh.
herself or and that helped her center herself. So it's interesting to see that come back and
Mm-hmm.
to have other characters. While the Cos one is a weird concept, like having other Vulcans mention that they did it does help make Spock's life
Right.
look a little less uniquely awful. Um,
Right.
like it's
Right.
that,
I think that the implication is that most Vulcans end up doing that, which is
which is
interesting.
insane to me.
Yeah. 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 Now's not the time to like go on a thing about my like original characters and my things doing that. I'm not talking about that right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, we talk about that after the show because
Yeah.
nobody people don't know what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Yeah. That's too.
Um.
That's too inside baseball for anybody else.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Baseball. Uh.
Baseball.
Star Trek needs to reference baseball again. It would be fun. Um. I think if there's anything else. What I will say, as this is somewhat obvious now, but this episode really does give us a lot to talk about. There's a lot to discuss here,
Mm-hmm.
and I really hope other people will get into the weeds of discussing this episode because again, I think this episode is very interesting to talk
Yeah.
about. I do worry that a lot of the fandom is going to sort of like knee jerk reject this episode because it's
Right. Right. Right.
different in a
I know
way
a
that
lot of the fandom has like a real, and I understand why, has a real problem with like certain aspects of horror in Star Trek.
right or it getting like darker in general like
Right.
I don't want to see think pieces pathologizing how doing this episode is like against Star Trek's like spirit of
Right.
optimism.
Right.
No, it's just a horror episode. It's not that big of a deal. But
Mm-hmm.
I am worried that like a lot of the sort of traditionalists, especially the people who like
Right.
see T
Uh
and
huh.
G is like the essence of Star Trek are going to maybe reject this. Although there was the thing where they introduced the hallucination to bring reminded me a lot of the corpses sitting up when Beverly was
Oh yeah,
hallucinating
yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah. You even mentioned it when we were watching it,
yeah that
and
insomnia
later,
episode.
even one of the corpses does sit up later.
Yep, exactly. Which is fun. The crawling through like dark corridors and finding stuff also a little bit reminded me of like a a not stupid version of Genesis. Yeah, that's a pretty good creepy episode, I think, actually, until they start explaining things, and then it sucks. Um,
People are like Pokemon. You can just evolve if we get enough experience points.
Barkley became a spider. Deanna's a fish. Worf is Doomsday from
That
DC.
effect is like so half baked they don't even like showing it.
No, he's got like mandibles. I don't know what's going on, Worf. I don't got time for all that.
But yeah, it's a good episode. I liked it.
I agree. I like the two.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about with this particular episode? Because I do have some stuff I want to talk about.
With this episode, no, we can get into like new stuff now.
Okay, okay. First, I wanted to because this is a Star Trek thing. We're gonna talk about some Star Trek stuff that I found
Oh
out.
yeah, cool.
One minute.
Speaking of wider Star Trek
Mm-hmm.
stuff, in the first episode that we did this,
Mm-hmm.
we briefly talked about Shadow Frontier. It is interesting to me that we have this full on horror episode not too
Right.
long after the announcement of a Star Trek survival horror video game.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I don't think they're gonna connect this, like whatever entity
No,
is
I
doing
don't think
this is
so.
what tormented grow in that game. Like I don't think that's gonna be what it is. I mean it could be, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Um
Okay, so we got an interview with Anson Mount
cool.
from Parade.com.
Hmm.
He was talking. Anson Mount was asked whether he would ever come back to Star Trek after the show's over.
Okay, interesting.
Uh, he said that yes, if they did ask him back, he would gladly come back if they wanted to use him in the future as Pike. They wanted to use Pike in the future at all.
Oh, cool.
He says he doesn't think so, but if they never bring him back, but if they ever do, he'd be fine to do it. That's basically what happened.
I can see why he would feel that way. I mean, he might know more than us because he's behind the scenes. But even like now, it kind of looks like whatever comes out of Star Trek Next is probably not going to be a direct continuation of anything that we have now.
Right, right, right. Yeah, he says if they ever want me again, then he'd be happy to.
Right. Like the obvious one in Connection to Stranger Worlds is that it seems at this point that year one is out
Right,
as
right.
a possibility. Um
Oh,
at
and
least as a
some great news
show.
because Comic Con is going on right now.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And what is being displayed right now but the original model of the USS Enterprise from
Cool.
TOS. And the
Didn't they
thing
have that
is,
in one of the Air and Space museums?
no, no, no. They have a model. This is the
Okay.
original screen use model. It's 33
Wow.
inch.
That's amazing. I didn't think we still have any of
Lost
those
for
models from.
mid for It's been lost for 45 years until it was
Wow.
recently discovered in 2023.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I
It
didn't know
was
about
discovered in
that.
a random storage unit,
That's crazy.
which is
Wow.
nuts considering that this historic Star Trek item has been lost for a long time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh,
That's wow.
and it's now on display after they restored it because it was, you can still see, like I'll show you a picture of the model. It
Mm.
does not look that great, and this is after
No.
like restoration.
Right. I mean, it never looked great. Um.
Well,
But
like it looks rough. It's noticeably yellowing,
right.
and this is like after they have attempted to restore it, and it's good that
Right.
something like this is not lost in Star Trek, that it's back and it's being displayed at Comic Con this year, and probably at the Las Vegas convention too. I would imagine,
Right.
since relatively they're not that far away from him. Relatively, this is the United States.
Right.
They're not that far away from each other, so it's good that this is like apparently some guy found it in a storage unit and he sold it on eBay, and luckily one of the eBay people, one of the buyers on eBay was a fan, so they bought it and then donated it back.
Ah, nice.
Okay. Okay, that's that one down.
They're also doing some. I think we may have talked about this last time. They're also doing some like airings of Star Trek episodes at SCCC, which is cool.
Yeah.
A lot of famous ones.
Okay, and also very minor news about Star Wars. Star Wars is having a D&D campaign made out of it.
Oh, cool. Oh, that'll be fun.
They're partnering officially with the D&D people. No specifics or even concept art have been made yet, but they're saying there is a official D&D campaign based on Star Wars now that they're creating.
Right.
Which, good for them, good for them. And for our okay, this is like a strong rumor about the first. This is by Deadline, which is a very respectable this is a very respectable trade magazine, that they have
Mm.
casted, that Marvel has officially casted their first X-Men actress.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. You told me about this. You mentioned this to me.
This is and interestingly, it's not one of the X-Men you usually see, and she's
Mm.
kind of a recurring villain in the X-Men. Actually, she's not exactly a good guy all the
Oh.
time. We have an Emma
Oh.
Frost casting.
I had a feeling that you were leaning. leading in the direction um of it being her when you started
Marvel
talking
has
about that.
had no comment on this, which probably means it's true.
Right.
This is played by Samara Weaving, who I don't know who this actress is. I've never seen her in anything before. I guess she looks the part. Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, yeah, I can buy it.
So
Yeah,
I
I don't know her from anything off the top of my head, but yeah, I buy it physically.
Yeah, and so we'll see what comes of that and what more X Men get cast. I'm surprised this was the first one to leak, and not who's ever
Mm.
playing Jean Grey.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, right. Because neither of us have seen Spider-Man: Brand New Day yet, so we're not going to talk about it. And this is not a spoiler because we don't know
Yeah,
if we're
yeah,
right or
because we
not.
haven't seen
But
it, but
there's
it looks like that might be Jean Grey as like the
yes,
quote unquote one of the antagonists of
yes.
Spider-Man
There's a
2.
character in the trailers who seems like she's probably Jean Grey, but they're not going to say it obviously. And I'm going to see the movie tomorrow. I know you haven't seen it yet, so we're still speculating, even though technically it is out. So if we're right, this was not spoilers on purpose.
Right. If you're right, we didn't do it on purpose because we have not seen the movie. All right, and some sad news is the DCU is having a bit of a rough. Supergirl did not do the numbers that DC or HBO wanted it to do,
Mm.
and also the Booster Gold series has been canceled.
Ah,
The
damn
Booster
it!
Gold series that was in development for
That sucks. Ah, we already lost a project from that slate that James Gunn announced a while back.
which
Ah,
I don't know. I don't know if that's a bad. That's not a good thing. That things are being
no,
canceled already.
no.
So yeah, the Booster Gold project is, of course, being canceled. Which I do want Booster Gold in this universe because we already have both Ted Cord Blue Beetle and Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle, and
Right,
Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, those are bros for life. You know, that's sad, but maybe he'll get in a different way.
right.
Anyways, yeah. Nothing's. Nah, I'm gonna see if more stuff has came out of Comic Con since then. Yeah, if you want to talk about anything, go ahead.
Trying to think. I don't think there's anything I can think of right now.
Cause I want to look up. I'm just gonna look up to see some more. If anything has come from Comic Con. See, the thing is, I can't look up a lot of Star Trek news because all it is about the episode that just aired. Let me look. My computer's being kind of slow right now because I'm recording. They don't like. And when you're recording and Googling at the same time, they don't like that.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's something that Okay, so here's from Yahoo News. Ryan Reynolds apparently crashed a Avengers Doomsday panel,
That's funny.
and apparently most people don't like it because um,
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, already like people don't love it when like the way they lean into the comedic side of the character of Deadpool is just him being obnoxious. Um,
apparently he's dressed as a guy named Gene Pool, who is he's Deadpool, but he's dressed in all venom from in all denim from head to toe, and he has a Canadian flag on. And apparently, he
It's
crashed
funny.
the panel, and fans
I
did
wonder if
not
that's a
like that very much.
real
Did not like that
multiverse
very
variant in the
much.
comics. Uh,
Yeah, and apparently, fans didn't really like that.
yeah, and I know you said. Yeah, I mean, people generally want to try to get information at these convention panels. They're not really there for that kind of like performance art, I guess. Like if people want actors at panels to do something funny, they would prefer that they just tell jokes. I think like Star Trek actors at convention panels are funny as hell. I love those people.
Right.
But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about that. I'm gonna be honest. I can get why it would be annoying.
Yeah. I assume we'll know more about. We could do more stuff about it happen next week because everything will have already happened from next week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
I
and
think
of
we'll have
course
more to talk
there's that
about.
Star Trek convention too, so we'll have plenty of stuff to talk
Oh
about.
right, STLV is coming up. Yeah, I'm a little bummed out that I'm most likely not gonna be able to go to that. I really did consider it this year, but I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, the main thing would be transportation.
We do
Like,
have a friend who will be going.
good,
Um,
good.
a semi-prolific cosplayer. I don't know her Instagram handle to shout her out, but
And
that'll
here's
be cool. So we'll get a little
yeah,
firsthand
yeah, and
stuff
here's
from
also
from that
something
convention.
from Yahoo News talking about the original draft
Mm.
of the "Where No Man Has Gone Before" speech, which was
Oh,
apparently very
interesting.
bad. It read,
I believe it.
it read, "This is the story of the United Spaceship Enterprise, assigned to a
Huh.
5-year patrol of our galaxy. The
Too
giant
wordy.
starship visits Earth colonies, regulates commerce, and explores strange new worlds and civilization. These are the Voyagers and its adventures." That's a lot more clunky.
Too wordy. Too wordy. Oh, speaking of the opening, there was a bit in this episode where Kirk is like, "Let's boldly go," and it's like, I don't need that. You
He
can keep
did
it.
it.
You
He
can
said
keep
the
it.
thing. He said the
You
thing.
can keep it. I don't need Kirk. I don't need Jim Kirk to say the thing. He said the thing at the beginning of every single TOS episode and the end of most of the movies.
We have like we have way too many like references of the Starfleet like motto like being said in universe, like Starfleet opening.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. The opening has been implied to be some kind of in-universe Starfleet motto multiple times, which
Right,
I'm fine with
which
as an
I'm fine with,
idea.
but like they reference too many episode names with the Starfleet motto in it. Like,
Yes, I think when your show is already called Strange New Worlds, also having an episode called New Life and New Civilizations is obnoxious.
right, and there's also an episode of Strange
Um,
New Worlds called Strange New Worlds.
right, the pilot episode is also called Strange New Worlds, which is lazy. I get that other shows do that, like the pilot episode is the exact same name as the series, and it's just like series name parentheses pilot, and that's how we refer to it. Like I understand, but I think it's lazy.
Like, and besides, in TOS we already had Where No Man Has Gone Before, and then in
Right,
and then TNG we had Where No One Has Gone Before because it's an
right, which is
updated.
a way less memorable episode than the TOS one. I'm not gonna
Oh yeah,
lie.
the TNG episode is extremely forgettable.
I don't even remember. I don't remember what it was
It's
about.
a
I have no
season
memory
one
right now.
episode. It's good by the fact that it's not terrible,
Got it.
like most TNG the season one episodes. Oh, and it's also another Wesley saves a ship scenario one, which
All right.
oh yeah. Oh, is there anything else you want to add?
What can I think of?
All right then. We've had a good day talking about this.
Hmm.
Well, I really like this episode. It was good. It
Yeah,
was a lot better than the
yeah.
last horror theme episode from the last season. Shuttle to
I forgot
King
about that.
Foray. That was a bad one. I did not like that episode.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Well, at least we have a better horror themed episode this year. And I look forward to seeing the rest of it, including his actual reunion with David and Carol. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. All right.
Right. Yeah, it'll be
Look.
interesting to see if they
Yeah.
actually show up.
Yeah. If that is it, I might be a little disappointed if that's it for the because like the Paul Wesley was talking like this was going to be a huge plot point for the season. So
Right, about Kirk's relationship and how he sort of grows distant
right.
from David and becomes more and more of that absentee father that we see in Wrath of Khan. There are shades of it here.
Right. I hope this gets more for the exploit. And I hope they don't bring the genetic stuff up with on again, which they probably will, unfortunately.
Yeah. There was the previous account segment where they covered a lot of the on stuff from the previous season and from the first episode of this season to sort of give us
Yeah.
a general idea. But then it just turned out to be that the episode is about her. Like
Right.
generally, they didn't really touch
Which
on a ton of that.
okay, like since they did the her reflexes are becoming more like augment reflexes and strength. I think they just
Her
I think they're going to cover that in this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, she in this episode, I think the only thing that really happens, other than like some of the dialogue stuff, where it's like, "Oh, you're not a monster. You're not Khan. You're not a Romulan. You're one of us." Like aside from that, there's the bit where she freaks out at like one of Harper's logs and like punches, and it breaks, and her fist breaks the glass and
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt her hand to do so.
Right. Which
Um, so
might be
that
a
might
bit
be
of a
something.
subtle thing, which this series
Yeah,
doesn't do subtle very well.
no.
So
And sometimes
yeah.
it's a good thing, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm very curious.
we'll see where she goes because we know she's not in
Right.
TOS, so we're worried.
Right. I'm really curious if they're ever going to bring this back and try and like reveal what the hell was going on, or if they're just going to leave this ambiguous forever,
I don't
like a
know.
lot of
They
older
might
sci
or
fi
might
fiction
not in
done.
30 years or something. Who knows? Okay, so that's all for today. See you next time on the
See you next time.
podcast.
The podcast. We'll figure it
Yep,
out. When is this?
we'll figure it out.